As the Bitcoin price continues to explode to the upside, I want to explore the possibilities of what if this was a short squeeze? How high could this potentially go? And I also want to examine some very important Fibonacci extension targets of which we could see this Bitcoin price potentially climb up to. So let's dive in and analyze. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Crypto Kirby here, your cryptocurrency expert, back with another edition of the daily live stream. What is going on, my friends? Today I'd like to discuss Bitcoin and the action we're seeing inside the chart right now. So as a full-time trader, I'd like to discuss with you my strategy, my game plan, and how I plan to crush this market right now in the immediate term. So without any further ado, you guys already know the deal. If you like these daily crypto videos and nightly live streams, smack that thumbs up button, click the subscribe, tick the little bell, and let's get this crypto. Moon the likes, ladies and gentlemen. Moon them up. All right. So we'll begin with our Bitcoin technical analysis. And of course, before we begin, this is not investment advice, this is not trading advice, these are only my own opinions, ideas, and speculative hypotheses on the market. Always do your own research and your own due diligence before investing or trading, as this market is extremely high risk, and I am not your financial advisor. I will never tell you what to do with your trades or investments. That being said, let's begin right here on the one-day time frame. Now, clearly, my friends, we see that Bitcoin is looking to close today with a bullish engulfing candle. This is huge, as right now we did see on the 4-hour time frame, especially here on the line chart, that Bitcoin appeared to have lost support of a descending triangle. You guys know, I told you, I took a small short position upon this break to the downside. I did get stopped out of my trade now upon this short squeeze, which we're going to discuss in a moment. And right now, really until proven otherwise, I'm going to be tentatively looking to see where the bulls could potentially take this. So we're going to discuss targets and more. But let's talk about this short squeeze. So essentially what happened here, in my opinion, my friends, is that we saw that a clear break of structure occurred here after trading in a sideways equilibrium. We broke to the downside. We closed multiple 4-hour candle bodies below this region before then, once the price action got right back above this tentative support line, just whoop, right to the moon, right? And the reason for this is that many traders, actually including myself, had stop losses inside this region here, and it becomes an effect of a cascading effect, right? Like a series of dominoes, just boom, boom, boom. You have stop loss and liquidation after liquidation occurring, but market buying back into the market to cover their position, right? And that's what causes this essentially straight line to the upside. Let's get this crypto. The same thing happens to the downside. And that's when you get these cascading waterfalls that just absolutely, annihilate people. Something like what we saw over here, right? Well, let's get this crypto, right? You see that this one over here lost support and then just complete annihilation. So for me right now, we saw a short squeeze exactly at the point where we would expect it, right, with stop losses and liquidations above the tentative new resistance. I am out of my short trade now, and I am beginning to look for potential bullish targets here. So now let's go back to the candlestick chart. So now we find ourselves at a critical point here where the bulls are going to have to look to contest this prior high, the macro high of the trend, around 10,400. Now, the reason that this is so important is because Bitcoin has not stuck in a macro higher high in a very long time, my friends. I mean, really, since our blow off top at 14,000 back in June of 2019. So if Bitcoin can now climb above this region, even if it gets rejected, this would be very critical, my friends, as we would have then seen a series of higher lows into an essentially parabolic formation to then stick in a new higher high for the first time. And as long as Bitcoin can still maintain this higher low trajectory, my friends, this is looking like sheer potential parabola here. Let's get this crypto. So now for targets, right? Because it's just one thing to essentially be looking for the bulls to tentatively look to take out this high here. Let's use some Fibonacci extensions, okay? And we're going to look for potential targets here. So for this, I'm actually going to, we'll do it on both. We'll do it on the candlestick chart and on the line chart, right? So we'll take into consideration wicks first, and then we'll do no wicks. So from here, ladies and gentlemen, you could see that we've already essentially taken out all of the targets here. So from this wick down, I would say all of those targets have been completed. So now I need to look at the next, right? And for me, this becomes the area where I'm going to pull from the macro high to the macro low here. And we need to understand that there are two critical levels upcoming here, both of which would be healthy potential bullish targets to be hit before seeing a potential correction. Now, for me, what's interesting is this 0.5 fib actually doesn't create a new higher high on a macro level, right? We would still be underneath that wick. So for me, if this trend is going to get super bullish and look to really make a statement here from a bullish perspective, I would love to see a potential parabolic rip all the way to this 0.618 here, around 11,000 here on my chart, right? And you guys know that these Fibonacci extensions, that 0.618 is essentially where we saw Bitcoin get rejected on the blow off top around 14,000. Now, this doesn't mean here that this has to be the end of this bullish cycle. It could, right? It very well could be. This could be an area where we see a blow off top to continue a bear market after a fake out. It's always possible. Even sticking in a new higher high, it's possible that this is one miniature market cycle, right? That is always a possibility. But on a more positive note, what I would love to see here is a test up to the 0.618 around 11,000, then get a rejection and see it hold above this red box, right? Where we did see this act as a flipping support to resistance region. Again over here, and then after breaking through it, if we can now create it to be a new support, my friends, for me, that would be extremely bullish. Hitting the golden 0.618 golden Fibonacci extension bullish target, then getting rejected and finding newfound support upon an old macro, nearly a year long. I mean, at this point, over 6 months long, old resistance to support range. If we could build from there, my friends, I think that this trend could get very, very bullish. Other good things to take into consideration here is the fact that right now, Bitcoin is still maintaining support above the 200-day moving average. Another thing is that Bitcoin is also maintaining its support above the 21 and 50-week moving averages as well. Very critical in my opinion. The difficult thing with this range in particular here is that we've seen a ton of fake outs here, right? Just a ton of liquidation wicks, right? This one here in particular, wicks in both directions. This one here, wicked, then go down, lose that support, lose the structure, especially on the line chart here, and then it just becomes a classic fake out, right? So for me right now, this range in particular is a bit tricky. This is, a very interesting time because also pay attention here on the line chart, which only accounts for candle body closes, not wicks. You could see here that right now Bitcoin is looking like it's testing that high on the daily time frame, right? So, on the regular candlestick chart, let's switch it back. We still are a ways away, right? But on the line chart, we are essentially right where those candle bodies closed. So this is all very interesting, right? And it depends how you look at it, especially here on the 4-hour time frame. We still are just a little bit beneath it, but nearly at it. So right now, if you discredit the wick, we are essentially right at that boiling point right now, my friends. So this market is certainly heating up. I am expecting a ton of potential volume to come in here as well, ladies and gentlemen. We have to keep in mind that right now, the conditions still, in my opinion, are very frothy here. I mean, we've been seeing a ton of bearish divergence as well. I mean, again, ladies and gentlemen, we've seen Bitcoin climb to a new high, yet the RSI is still descending. I mean, it is what it is. There is more bearish divergence here on the 1-day time frame, on the RSI and on the MACD as well. this really hasn't shown to be too much of a problem here for Bitcoin as of yet, but it's possible that we do find a rejection here at some point. I would just rather see that we go up to test this 0.618 first and then get a rejection down, as that for me gives Bitcoin the best chance to maintain its bullish run. Otherwise, if we start to struggle around this region and it winds up being that this was a fake out to the downside yesterday, then a fake out to the upside today, and then we continue back down, this would look very, very problematic for me here, ladies and gentlemen, especially with the fact that we do have these bearish divergences across multiple indicators, the fact that we still are technically underneath this critical zone of potential resistance, and the fact that we still have yet to put in a new macro high. All of these things still could be macro bearish here for the trend, in my opinion. So I'm not ruling it out of the equation just yet that this could still be a little secretly bearish, although the bulls do appear to be showing some power here in the trend right now. Let's get this crypto. Guys, like I've stated, I'm looking to trade this range absolutely aggressively. If you are not already in my VIP, my friends, today is the day. It's time to transform yourself from average Joe into savage Joe. Let's get this crypto. This range in particular is very tricky, as I've stated. And the thing for me is right now, is this going to wind up being one gigantic bull flag? I do think it's possible. I think it's very possible. It's just that we have to be careful and understand that there is still a ton of bearish confluence here. But if Bitcoin can negate that bearishness and start to get up towards this 0.5, my friends, I think personally I will be targeting around the $11,000 area as a potential target zone. Let's get this crypto. Now, another piece of bearishness just to keep on your radar, I want to show you guys that there still is that gap here on the CME futures chart, right? And that is all the way down. Let's pull it up here. It's all the way down at the 85.75 to 8,540 range here. Let me pull this on the daily. Okay, so we still have this gap here. The first gap that I was pointing out, it did fill. All of the moon boys and degenerates, it'll never fill, Kirby. Well, little James, it did fill, okay? So now there still is that gap here. Doesn't have to fill, but it's still something to take into consideration. That's why, although we do have this bullish engulfing candle here today, if this winds up being a fake out where we just have a dip down, then a short squeeze up, and then we roll over again, my target to the downside certainly at that point is going to be looking for a test back down into this region here, into the honey hole of Don Carbonaccio. Really, this gap fill and the 0.618 retracement down around 8,800 all the way down to 8,540 would become my zone of interest personally. Let's get this crypto. So just keep it on your radar, guys. There is a lot going on here. If we take a look at the altcoins as well, I know many people are freaking out about the altcoins today. Yes, it does indeed seem to be breaking out above this potentially, macro resistance level here. But keep in mind, we still are tentatively respecting this downward sloping trend line, right? Let's actually pull this up here. Let's get this a little closer. This downward sloping trend line is still tentatively looking to be respected, although it could be breaking out right now. And we see also as well that if we pull up our RSI, just like Bitcoin, we are seeing that negative bearish divergence, right? Ascending price action, descending RSI, descending MACD. Also, just a very interesting spot. I don't know what else to say. There's a lot of potential bearish confluence in these zones, but the price is continuing to rip. So I'm just wondering, is this all going to be chalked up to a short squeeze and a fake out? I think it's possible. But either way, right now, I'm strategizing for the next potentially large, potentially life-changing swing that occurs in this market. So if you do want to see all of my trades in real time, I will be keeping you guys up to date with all of this exclusively around the clock in VIP. Today is the day. It's time to transform yourself from average Joe into savage Joe. Let's get this crypto. Satoshi needs a new pair of shoes. And guys, if you are subscribed here, you probably noticed by now there is another problem with my microphone right now. I did have this problem in the past. The audio is a little different right now, but I'm going to be trying to fix this as well. So bear with me, no pun intended. And I do hope to have this fixed soon. But right now, back to the trading. Guys, I think that this right now is either going to potentially be the top of the swing, or this 0.618 is going to become a very, very interesting zone for me here around 11,000. That I do see sentiment that this could be a bull flag rip up to that zone. That is only my own opinion. It does not have to play out like that. Keep your eye on the divergences here. Keep your eye on potential rejection around this essentially $9,700 to $10,000 region for anywhere to be a potential blow off top of a parabolic run, right? It's always possible. Don't discredit it. And also look for a hold of potential support above this region, above 10,000. Holding support above this region would definitely look to me to be a more bullish outlook, if that's the right way to put it, a more bullish characteristic of the macro trend if we can sustain buy pressure above this region, as then for me, I would see the probability of continued further upside action to increase, in my opinion. Let's get this crypto. So guys, right now I am going to get back to my VIPs. I am looking to trade this right now for potentially life-changing trading opportunity, whether it breaks up or whether it breaks down. You best believe Don Carbonaccio is going to be looking to crush it like a 2-ton man on a tuna fish can and get this crypto. So my friends, as I've already stated, if you're not already in my VIP, today is the day. It's time to transform yourself from average Joe into savage Joe. Let's get this crypto. I will see you in VIP right now after this video. Let's get this crypto. And until next time, my friends, if you could one last time, moon up the likes, moon them up, smash those thumbs, click the subscribe button, tick the little bell, and let's get this crypto. Satoshi needs a new pair of shoes. I will see you in VIP right now. Let's get this crypto. And until next time, the Don has spoken. Be safe, be happy, be healthy. It's your boy, Crypto Kirby. Peace and love, my friends. Curbs.